Bonnem Carter was locked in the Edwardian era for years in such great pictures as Howard's End and A Room with a View. She was happy to trade in her corset for a role in a brand new picture which is called Margaret's Museum. Helena, thanks for coming over and welcome to our program. The Woody Allen picture, Mighty Aphrodite, was your way out of what we would call period pictures, your chance to break away from that.
It was my chance to break away, but in fact, actually, I did this film, Margaret's Museum, before the Woody film. So, and the Margaret's Museum was, that was, in a way, that was the first time that I was, well, superficially different, i.e. that I was not English, I was Nova Scotian, and I got this...
But you liked that. You liked getting out of, and I don't want to use the word corset era, but these period pictures that were very long and very elaborate and very involved, and which offered a challenge to you as an actress. It was fun to do the Woody Allen picture for you, wasn't
it? Yeah, it was. I mean, I like doing something, personally from my, and I think like most actors, I think, well, I personally prefer parts that require me to change, even if it's a superficial sort of physical change. And even if it means, like, for instance, an accent, I find it easier to act with accents because it gives you an immediate way into a character. If you get the sound of a character right, then it tends to bring the rest of the character with you.
I want to ask you about that in a second, because I read that the accent that you had to develop for Margaret's Museum was one of the most difficult accents of all to acquire. But now, when a picture such as The English Patient comes out, and you're not in it, do the critics notice your absence? Do they ever write about you?
Oh, they have not so much in The English Patient, but in other sort of period costume dramas, they sort of say so-and-so's playing the Helena Bonnem Carter role, you know. But basically, I think, you know, that's when they're sort of, it's a young, you know, ingenue actress, usually Kate Winslet or something. Right. But, you know, I've hit 30, so I think the old...
big hit.
Well, big hit. Well, I'm an aging ingenue. I've read that lately.
Oh, have you?
That was the latest description in some article, that I'm a geriatric ingenue. And frankly, I don't really mind, because I prefer playing... I think the parts will get better, I hope. You know, that's another story about women's parts and things and everything. But on the whole, I didn't really enjoy playing those ingenues. And...
Now, in Margaret's Museum, the broadside, the publicity sheet that comes with it describes this character, Margaret, as bawdy, foul-mouthed, a woman who is determined not to follow her predecessor women in living the coal miner's wife's life. True?
Yeah, fair enough.
And in reading about the making of this picture, I read some quotes by your dialogue coach, in which it was said that you picked up what is probably one of the toughest dialects of all to master, and which is the one that they're talking about?
It's a Nova Scotian accent. The whole story takes place in Cape Breton, and the accent is very odd because one, well, it's a hybrid of sort of mixtures of Canadian sounds and Irish sounds, although they're all of Scottish descent, so God knows why they sound Irish, but they do. And so it can sound, if you're doing it right, it can sound as if you're doing two accents badly, but that's if you're doing it right. But then again, there's the flip side, though, of doing the accent is that no one really knows what the hell it sounds like anyway, so even if you get it wrong...
True.
It didn't really matter. So I'm sure I floated, you know, halfway across the world in that accent from time to time, but it sounded sort of authentic because it sounds so wildly odd.
I've got just a little snip of film here that probably will demonstrate what you're talking about. Is there something we need to know about this scene before I show it?
I'm not so sure. I think it's basically, I'm wooed in this film. Margaret's wooed by this 6'6" character, Neil, and he plays the bagpipes, and that's, I think, all you need to know.
Okay, here then is a bit of the picture with Helena Bonhem Carter, Margaret's Museum.
Got it?
Yeah, he proposed to you there.
You see, I had to...
You know, there's nothing like a bagpipe to turn a girl's head, huh?
Yeah, yeah, quite. I had difficulty, for instance, understanding what the hell I said during that scene, but it is an odd accent. I'd forgotten how odd it was.
You come to America once a year, twice a year. When you come here, how do you see us? How do you see America? Because you don't live here, but you visit.
No, I don't. I think it's like a big theme park. I mean, that's how sort of... I have a great fun here, probably because I don't live here, so... And I know I'm getting out. But it's... No, I love it. I mean, there are different parts of America. I do it, you know, there's the LA bit, and then I was in New York earlier this week, and then Boston before. But,
do you get to small towns at all, like Madison, Wisconsin, or Athens, Georgia, or Memphis, Tennessee?
No, I can't say. No, not yet. Perhaps I should do those, too. But I'm sure they're wildly different from the other three towns.
Yes, they are. And as exciting or dazzling as Manhattan or Los Angeles might be, there's a certain charm in smaller cities in America that has a great warmth to it.
Yeah, yeah, no, I like small communities, rather like old Cape Breton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Let me pause for a commercial. We're chatting here with Helena Bonham Carter. The picture is called Margaret's Museum, and we'll be right back after these messages. Back with Helena Bonham Carter. Let me ask you here about when you first wanted to do something in this business. You were in school, and as I read, a school chum of yours, a schoolmate, got an agent and got an acting job.
That's
and
right.
you saw this all happen. What happened to her that made you want to do it too?
Well, she seemed to be receiving quite a lot of attention, I guess, from everybody else in the school. So I suppose, although it's not very edifying, but I guess I was inspired by envy right at the beginning. And so she got this agent, and so I got the agent too. I heard her talking to her agent rather conspicuously on the school phone, and I heard,
she talked conspicuously on the school phone.
Well, you do, you know, talking to your agent on the school phone is quite conspicuous, I think, or ostentatious is the word. So I found out the name, and then I rang up and got on her books without my friend knowing, and then was toddled on to, you know, off to auditions for the next 2 years.
And what was the first acting job that you ever got, with this agent or without this agent?
I was on a commercial for
really?
a hi-fi commercial, you know, one of those music machines.
Sure, sure.
Showing off the radio potential. So I was actually doing a radio play of Romeo and Juliet. So I was in a speaker as Juliet, and Romeo was in the other speaker. And that was my first job. It was probably about the worst day of my professional life.
And so your face wasn't seen, just the voice of Juliet?
No, they showed it on. It was on television.
Oh, they did.
And then that was my break, but it wasn't. And then I did. I played a ghost, an Edwardian ghost. So I started off where I was to continue when I was about 17, and then I got the agent who represents me now, and he put me up for Lady Jane, which was not the most successful movie, but that was my big break.
Yeah, and I read somewhere on Lady Jane you had a temper tantrum where you screamed at everybody.
No, I don't think so. I think that no, I had my own private tantrum, but I don't think anyone found out about it. Well, obviously you have, but no, on the whole I was quite well behaved. But I remember losing my temper once, but nothing very particularly.
I've read that you were given to door slamming as a girl.
Oh, as a child, I had a terrific temper. As I've got older, I seem to have got more tame on the whole. But I mean, I think on the whole, I know that I make such a fool of myself if I lose my temper and become completely inarticulate. So on the whole, I don't tend to lose it anymore.
And then you had the one friend who got the agent who was an actress, and then you had another school chum named Margaret, and she pulled a prank on you one time.
No, I think, no, Martha.
Martha,
right. Well,
I'm
Martha,
sorry.
Margaret's the movie, Martha's the, you know,
Okay.
that's fair enough. But, no, I think that was to do with the fact that we're both incredibly innocent. I was a very innocent child, I guess, and not very naughty at all. But there was one, and the one time I really got told off was utterly innocent, was when I was at school in an English class and we had to read aloud. And it was a book very, very sort of, it's called Sided with Rosie. And the front page had been, I can't remember, some sentence saying like, the river was banked with violets. And somebody had scribbled, you know, my B of banked and put a little W in front of it.
Winked.
Exactly, but I didn't know what it meant, so I put my hand up, sort of saying, excuse me, miss, but I think there's a typing error and which one's right. Whereas, you know, the whole class went up and I was the only person who didn't.
Would it be banker or wanker, huh?
Well, yeah, the violets wanked, yes, the riverbank. But that was how innocent I was at 13. I was told off, and I still didn't understand why I was told off.
I think it's a charming story. Thanks for coming over tonight, and I hope that your picture is an enormous success.
Well, I hope so too. Thanks for
My
having
great
me.
pleasure. Helena Bonham Carter is the guest. The picture is called Margaret's Museum. You'll look for it at theaters in your area. We'll be right back after these messages.